Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Jimm. Expand your awareness. We've been talking about many things about how the mind, body, how you connect. And there are so many ways we can approach your human body. And especially coming to the emotion, how we're going to deal with these emotional dramas. So today we have an expert, Jimm Harrison. So he is the essential expert, lifestyle expert. And what else do you have an expert in that?
Well, yeah, it's, so essential oil and holistic beauty lifestyles is
Mhm.
what I work on, what I create. And, because essential oils are becoming really popular,
Mhm.
people are looking at them like they're a drug. And same thing with skincare and beauty, that people look at it as a very physical thing. And my whole approach is that, it's not the essential oil or the skincare
Mhm.
for a symptom, it's essential oils, skincare for the person. Who are you? What do you want? What's going to be best for you? And that's what I work on. And essential oils are just a beautiful tool anyway. And there's a lot of therapy to it. It's very much like a drug,
Yes.
where I've worked with doctors before and they've done amazing medical treatments. I don't work that way. I work on the person. I work on who you are, your emotions, and it's all about scent. And so my system is called emotion, scent, and intention.
Wow.
And
That's beautiful the way you're approaching it. It's
Yeah.
very unique and I love it because it's so individual, so customized.
Yeah.
Just like Chinese herbal medicine too.
Yes.
It's not the exact same symptom, but we have to approach in a different way based on where the imbalance it is, what's causing the imbalance, what the underlying issue is, right?
Yeah, and it's all about the individual, and that's what people miss. I mean, all through understanding holistic medicine as opposed to traditional medicine, the mainstream technical medicine, that's all about, we have a tool and we're going to, bang it into shape and fix you. That's not about the person. That's about the symptoms.
Yeah.
So when you work on the person, the healing is much more profound, plus sustainable.
Sustainable.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. I could give you an oil, if you have insomnia. I have plenty of oils that'll help insomnia. They calm the nervous system and they do what what you'd expect them to do. But it can be very temporary because it'll work for a day, it'll work, maybe for a week.
Yeah.
But because you haven't processed why you're not sleeping, you're just going to get back into that loop. So my techniques are all about processing who you are. I want you to find the solution. I can give you the tools, I can give you ideas, I can give you suggestions, but it's all about the person to be able to heal themselves.
Having the right intention to approach in the way that, I'm going to fully embrace, I'm going to fully full onto the approach.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So could you tell us about, you talk about insomnia. Many people suffer with insomnia.
Yeah.
Right? Now, how would you approach?
Well, I have layers is what I do. And generally it's 3 or 4 stages that I'll work in. So the first thing I do, and this is the power of scent, because I mentioned that it's emotion, scent, and intention. Those are really important words in this system.
Emotion, sense, and
intention.
Intention, yes.
So first of all, we have to understand how the olfactory system, our sense of smell, works. Every emotion, every memory has a scent attachment. And so this is a biological survival mechanism, so smoke, for instance, why is it that you respond to smoke? And it's because we were taught that the smell of smoke is danger. And so when we smell it, and it doesn't go through our intellectual centers, it's an immediate response. When you smell smoke, it triggers that memory emotion. And the emotion is important to understand here. So the memory is smoke, fire, danger, right? The emotion triggers the autonomic nervous system going into fight or flight so that you immediately go, oh, what do I have to do? And you respond immediately. So you're ready to run away. That's why it's called fight or flight. You're going to run away or, you're going to fight, which means put out the fire if you smell smoke. And so the process that I do is I use that action, that emotion, memory, action. So one of the first things I like to do is get people to meditate, or if they see a therapist, to sit with the therapist in that very calm situation. I'll make a blend for them, or they just, person can buy a blend, but something they have not used before. So you're creating a new memory and emotion.
Attachments.
Yeah.
Yes. New circuitry.
And so, in that nice calm space, so if you're meditating or you're a therapist, you're in a nice calm space, you smell that while you're in that space. It's triggering, or it's creating that calm memory, that calm emotion. So once that's I call it a bond, or the attachment is made. So you're creating the calm emotion with the bonded scent, and then you can use that outside of the meditation or the therapist. So if you have insomnia, what you're going to do is take the blend, put it on a tissue, put it in a diffuser, bring it into the bedroom, and put that near your bed. So the scent is going to trigger that calming, relaxed. Now, it goes a little bit beyond that, because here's the intention. All right. So if somebody has insomnia, what a lot of people will do is they'll go, oh, I have insomnia. Well, that's creating the intention of I have insomnia. So the intention is I sleep well, I sleep all night, I don't wake up, I'm rested and feel good in the morning. So in the meditation, this is your intention, and you're creating the scent and the bond. So the memory, the emotion, and the intention are now bonded. Then, and this is where people really struggle with essential oils. How do I use them? Just use it. That's pretty much what you do, right? So you've created the bond, and now you have the blend or the essential oil. And skincare. I love, I'm a holistic beauty therapist, and I make skincare.
Yes.
So if you have a cream, you can take, you should unscented cream. Really, if you're using naturals, it has a scent. But if you take your blend and put it in where there's no essential oils already in the cream, or you could just use vegetable oil for your skin with that scent. So when you're applying your skincare, you're looking in the mirror and saying, I sleep all night, I'm rested, I feel good in the morning. So you're taking the bond that you've created in the skincare, and at the same time you're creating an intention and the touch of what you're doing, right? So, I go in skincare, I even go beyond that for many reasons, because there's certain textures that feel good. And so if the texture feels good on your face, there's that connection that it's relaxing, it feels good. So you're creating layers and layers and layers of relaxation, and you're just going to sleep all night.
Wow.
Well,
we can't wait to try that.
Yes. Well, it's powerful. I mean, with skincare, there's the whole biophilia thing too, right?
Yes.
Which is that our genetic need or desire to be in nature. And so that, from a genetic perspective, is relaxation and calming and feeling good.
So grounding, because the nature, right? Yeah,
exactly. And so, that creates another layer to what we're doing. So you have the emotion and the scent connection, and the intention, right? So biophilia, if you know your skincare is natural, you've created an intention that this is good for me, this feels good, I'm in nature, I connected with nature. Even if you don't use those words or even understand that that's what's going on, it's still there.
Yeah.
Right? So there's so many different pieces you can put into this, and it's all about getting into a really good emotional space. And you create that, but the intention has to be there. And that the meditation, I think, is really important, because you have to be in a relaxed state in order to create that relaxed bond.
Part of that, you have to set those brainwave. When you relax, get into alpha, even get into theta state, right?
Yeah.
This is where you can break through those, replace the memory, replace the emotional, the bond.
Yeah.
So we gotta get to that state.
Yeah. And there's so much science that backs all this up. Meditation has really good solid science. Being in nature, from forest bathing, lots of good evidence on that, how that reduces stress and gives you a grounding and feeling good. And powering the immune system. Because I do this for people with weak immunity as well. Weak immunity can be either physically driven, environmentally driven, or emotionally driven. And so I can put together a system that would address the biology, the science, the chemistry, but I always want to put that emotional piece in. So just like what I talked about for insomnia, I can help build somebody through their emotional aspect to build up immunity. And it's basically the same steps. All the steps I do are the same. So and this is where during COVID, I created a system. I said, my skincare is healthy for COVID, keeps you strong during COVID. People go, what?
But yeah, again, people want to
that
do the
makes
skincare with
no
the immune
sense.
system, right?
Yeah.
They still have an attachment to the label of the skincare.
Yep.
It's just the application of this, some kind of chemicals in the body, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not that.
Yeah. And so, in the system of that, it's the same thing what I said for insomnia, but there's actually a little bit more because I'm using the physical properties of the oil as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're applying that to your skin, a lot of how essential oils work is through the olfactory system.
Mm-hmm.
So not only the scent to the memory emotional aspect, but you absorb those, they trigger certain chemical responses in the body,
Mm-hmm.
so dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin release.
Yes.
But also you're getting the properties of the antiviral properties that are in the oil.
Yes.
So it's just layer and
multiple
layer.
layers. Yeah.
And this is what so many people miss in essential, and it's so frustrating, because they're talking about it like it's a drug. You do this and they think you should eat it because it's like a drug.
Yes.
But no. They work through olfactory system.
Yes.
Losing weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I say, well, grapefruit. There's a good study on how to lose weight with grapefruit.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my students, I said, well, how do you think you'd use it? And they say, well, you'd eat it.
Mm-hmm.
No. It was all done through the olfactory system, where it triggers a response through the olfactory system goes to what's called the limbic system of the brain.
Yes.
Triggers a response in the body that triggers a nervous reaction, a nervous system reaction, that then triggers a burning of fat cells. And people they can't relate to things like that, So
they need to know the pathways, how that, all the chain reaction happens.
Yep.
Just like any disease, right?
Yeah.
This is what the body-mind connection. You cannot separate those two. And you have to know that how those two is connecting it, again, expanding awareness.
Yes.
Then those things start making sense. When you make sense, now you're very, very more kindred spirit. You're really able to lock in. You can use it for a long time.
Yep. And even for people that don't understand this or just don't want to, they want to know, I can't sleep, my immune system's weak, what should I do? This is what people want. And so, I know all the stuff. I know all the chemistry, I know all the mechanisms, I know the biology, the quantum aspect of everything. I know all that. You don't need to.
Yeah.
All you have to do is use the system, create the intention of what you want. Make sure it's a positive. You're not saying my immune system's weak or I can't sleep or I can't do this. It's always I'm strong, I'm sturdy, I'm emotionally strong, I feel good, I'm healthy. If you have that in your mind with what you're using, creates the scent emotion connection. But even without the scent emotion connection, the intention, if you're putting on skincare, if you're putting oils into a diffuser, all of these things will work without you knowing anything. All you have to know is what do you want?
What do you want?
Yep.
And action. Without action, there's no result.
Right.
Yes. Well, there's nothing to lose. You got to try it, right? With intention.
Yeah.
And if you gain the experience, new experience, then now all of a sudden your perception and belief changes.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. This is what we want always.
Yeah. And people also, with meditation, because I recommend meditation because it puts you in that space of creating a positive intention, right? People say, well, my mind's never quiet. Well, my mind isn't either.
It's like, professional.
Yeah, it's like I wrote a quote one time, and I said, well, trying to think that you're going to have a quiet mind is thinking that you're going to have calm water when you're white river rafting, or it's not going to happen. The mind is a busy thing, and all you're doing is you're trying to just be in a relaxed state. And if you create an intention and repeat that intention, you're disrupting that monkey mind, that chaos in the mind. And so that's all you have to do is keep thinking. And then your mind's going to go off into the distance, and you're going to bring it back and go, oh yeah, I wanted to sleep. I sleep. And then start going, what am I having for dinner? What am I doing? No. I sleep. And, so it's not, people expect things because they hear information that isn't accurate. It's like, well, you have to have a quiet mind. That's not possible. And even stillness. I mean, think about stillness. We're never still. I could sit here and look like completely still, but my electrons are buzzing. We're a buzzing deal of activity.
Yeah, every single second. We are all the cells moving, right? They're communicating. We're not still being. It's only 6 feet under.
Yeah. And so, and that's where intention. I talk about definitions. and language, and so it's very important to make sure that your definitions equal what you want, because if you think quiet mind, you're not going to get there. So redefine quiet mind or call it something else, call it focused mind, whatever works for you. And that's what's important. Whatever works for you,
Yes.
Don't listen to somebody else. You can go be guided, you can have suggestions, but when you start trying to follow somebody else's definition, it creates challenges.
Yeah, we had to create our own uniqueness. What works the best for you. So always any medicine, any treatments approach, it's not because this person doing this way, or I should do this way. No. What works best for you?
Yeah, and I do that with essential oils. So if there's an oil and and I used to have skincare and I called it jasmine night cream, and I handed it to somebody going, "Oh, you're going to love this," and they went, "I don't like jasmine." So that just, it's a definition on the bottle. It says jasmine. So what I turned it into was nourishing night cream. Who doesn't want their skin nourished, right? So instead of creating a definition that people resist, I'm creating something that people can
accept,
and take it.
Yeah.
And so with lavender is an oil that's thought, insomnia, calming, and all that. But what if you don't like lavender? It's not going to be very calming. And so it doesn't matter what oil you use. It's the intention, the scent, and the connection you make with that's going to work. And that's what I teach people. There's a lot of, if the more of the science you know about essential oils, the more accurate your practice will be if that's what you're trying to do. But it doesn't matter. It's about the intention, your definitions, the emotion, scent, memory connection that you create. That's the power. Yeah.
Well, think about it is that, when we talk about, can you think about back in, 30 years ago, when you're 10 years old, can you imagine the smell of your mother, right? Or your home?
Yep.
And then now, what's recording it? Memory of the smell, the attachment, that comfort, love, right?
Yes.
So that's it. So, is this okay? This smell particularly triggers the love? No. Particularly, feels the comfort? No. It's so individual, so unique.
Yes.
What is that attaching to the memories, the emotions, right?
Yeah. It's all about you. And that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
And even, I travel the world, and different cultures have different scent memory, right? So, I was talking about ginger, and it would be great in skincare, but I said, ginger just doesn't smell like skincare, so it's not going to work. And when I was in China, people say, "Oh, ginger in skincare would be beautiful." So it's a different scent memory, a different association. And, you can work on changing that, but why bother when there's so many choices in your environment, And, childhood memories. And this is with citruses. Citruses are, I find, across the board, everybody feels good. They're uplifting, they're happy. And I think it's because all around the world, citrus oils or citrus scent is like happy childhood memories. And so it brings that up, and whether you have a specific memory or not doesn't matter, because it's very subtle. You don't know this is happening. In fact, I teach a 3-day class on olfactory system. Every moment of every day, you are being affected by the scent in your environment. You walk into a room and you may feel uncomfortable and you're trying to figure it out. It may just be the fragrance. There's a negative scent attachment to the fragrance in the room. You meet somebody that, they seem nice, but you're just not comfortable with them. It could be the scent. So every day, every moment, we are being manipulated by fragrance. And so what I like to do is teach people how to take control of that instead of letting it control you. And, even in the environment. So when you walk into a space and you feel that, pay attention to what it smells like. And it changes your emotions. And this is part of the healing process, to understand how you're affected. If you don't understand that, it's hard to heal because you're not addressing what you need to address. The more aware you are of your environment, because you could have had a negative experience in, like I use this story. There was a woman in one of my classes. Every time something with Rose went around, she would get up and leave. This is beyond like, I don't like that, just pass it on. So there was some attachment or some with the bonding of memory and emotion that caused this girl anxiety. It wasn't about a memory. It was about an emotion. And so, I say, well, what if she was a 3-year-old kid and her parents couldn't find a babysitter when they were going to a funeral?
Mhm.
And, 3-year-old can't process how, but they can feel the emotions of people at a
Yes.
funeral.
Mhm.
And so here's this little kid right at the level of the roses.
Yeah.
And so that
Mhm,
scent
mhm.
could create that anxiety that she never understands, but she feels it whenever she smells rose.
Yes.
And this is how we're affected every day and every moment on olfaction. So my deal is create the memory and emotion attachment. And it doesn't have to be essential oils, but essential oils have such beautiful therapeutic properties that,
and we're so familiar with it. It's the nature offers.
yeah. And so you have all those layers, the biophilia, the therapeutic properties of the oils, and then creating a scent memory attachment with the positive intention.
Yes.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's
You
beautiful.
kind of we addressed that for the neuroscientific approach, so-called psychoneuroendoimmunology, right?
Yes.
That's all what you talked about it,
Yes.
with how the mind, the intention, how you're going to set the tone with the mind producing a particular neurochemical, which that going down to all different receptors in the different organs and glands.
Yeah.
Then directly affect the immune system, which you mentioned about that, right? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like you address the whole things.
Yeah. And that's, and that's what people miss. They take pieces, even some therapists that are holistic therapists. I wrote an article saying how whole is holistic. And because, it's mind, body, spirit, that's not a good definition, I don't think, for holistic, because it's much bigger than that.
Much bigger
It's,
than that.
so how whole is holistic? It's limitless.
Yes.
It's infinite what you can connect with. And, so these are things that we have to understand as therapists, but we have to be able to share it with people that just, all they want to do is sleep. They don't want to hear all this information.
All the different
All they want to do
things.
is sleep.
Just simply, I want to relieve, I want to get that great experience.
And Candace Pert,
Yes.
she wrote the book Molecules of Emotion.
Yes.
And she kind of took this aspect of the chicken and the egg. What comes first? The emotion with the chemical release in the body, or the neurotransmitter chemical release that triggers an emotion.
Yes.
And so what I'm doing with essential oils is I'm creating that, the other side of that, where we think the emotion creates the physical action or the neurotransmitter. I'm looking at smelling, and because I understand the therapeutic properties of oils. You smell this oil, it triggers dopamine or serotonin or oxytocin. And so there you have the chemical release that then creates the emotional balance and the feeling.
Yeah.
And so, these are things that you could, it's limitless. I mean, it's just so beautiful, the work that you can do. And plus it's nature, and we have a love for nature that is so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot disagree with that. It was against nature, right? Yeah. We didn't make it up. It's being offered. We're just discovering all the beauty, property of this nature.
Yes.
What it can do to the human well-being. I think.
Yeah. And that's, with the skincare that I do, that aspect of it being nature from nature is part of the biophilia, the genetic coding. And so, and when I first started doing this, I found that people liked synthetic naturals. They didn't want natural because they wanted to look and smell like they're synthetics, because it was new, this whole thing of natural. But even the idea of natural triggers that relaxation, that genetic coding. Just the idea of nature. But when you have it really in there, it's powerful.
Yes. Then you don't even think about it. It's there.
Yeah. It's powerful. It's texture and scent and all those pieces that go into it. So if you can't get to the forest today, use your skincare and it'll take you to the forest.
Yeah, that's right. You can gain the experience by having that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yes.
And it's healing, and it's great, and it's, it's instead of it being a challenge, and this is where essential oils people are challenged, instead of it being a challenge, it's, if you make it fun and just connect, that's the only job you have. The positive intention, make the connection, and you're done. You don't have to think about, what am I supposed to do with this one? It's like, no, put on tissue, play with it, whatever you want to do, however it feels good to you to use it.
Scent, emotion, intention. That's beautiful. This is I think this is what the people are looking for. How can I hack this emotion, hack this, the endocrine system, the immune system, all those many different difficult approach available, supplements through, let's look at the lab work and try to figure out. But simply by nature, the wisdom of the nature, throw that into your body, create a new memory, new circuitry. Now, body will start doing itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. It's just so easy to take care of yourself when you're doing that. And it's, one of the things that why I created this process was I had a spa, and I was, I was a hairdresser because I'm not calm enough to be an esthetician, but I would make formulas for my clients because I was new at doing the essential oil thing. And I'd hand it to them and I'd say, this is going to take care of your liver, which is going to help your hair and your skin. And then they come back in and, I'd say, well, how did it work? Because I'm all excited. They go, well, they went, I said, well, did you use it? They go, I said, well, it doesn't work unless you use it. So I read a book called Survival of the Prettiest, and it creates that connection of, what is beauty? Beauty and health are synonymous. So beauty in nature is all about reproduction. It's about, the peacock with the bright feathers is going to get the mate because the beauty of those feathers is saying, I'm healthy, I have strong genes, parasitic free, we're going to have strong babies, right? And we've gotten so far away from that as human beings, so far away from the health beauty aspect. We're so superficial, just thinking if we do this part, I'm going to be beautiful.
Cosmetically outside.
If we don't do our whole body, it's an internal external. And I even take it, there's a beauty inside out, right? And I look at it as beauty outside, inside out, because what's out here, we process internally, and then that comes out through our skin. So with that in mind, I took this formula for my client for her liver, and I said, this is going to make you more beautiful. Then they use it. And so what I learned is that if you give people tools that are already in their everyday habits, they're going to use it. So that's why skincare for emotional health with the scent bond, I mean, you still have to do one step, but with the intention, with the scent bond, putting it on your skin because you do it anyway, because you want to be beautiful. Yeah. And so, it's just a system. Make it easy. What do I do every day? That's what you want to look at. What do I do every day? And when you see the things that you do every day, put those scents that you created the bond wherever you do those things. Even if it's laundry detergent or dish soap or whatever, put those fragrances in there. It's going to trigger that response. So you're putting on your sweater and it has that fragrance. All of a sudden it's like, my immune system is strong, or I sleep at night, because you've created that bond. It's cool.
Yeah. Well, boy, you help us expand more awareness. It's amazing. New, it's not new way approach, but really you create a unique way to put those pieces together. That is the new invention, new innovations.
And it's all about you. It's all about what do you need, right? And what do you want? And then just figure out your own systems. Make it work for you. If it's a fight, nobody's going to do it. People don't want to do things that, they sit the oil on a shelf and it sits there forever because they stare at it and go, I know it's going to be good for me, but what am I going to do with it?
That's often, most probably 80-90% of people, right? They buy it, they hear it, sounds great, but they don't do anything about it.
Has to fit your lifestyle.
Then become more natural and get into the routine. Oh boy.
That's good.
Yeah. So thanks so much, Jim.
Well, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Yes, everybody. More information, more full information interview, and please come to quantumdecoder.com/can Conscious Awakening Network, and there's a Jimm's information and more to learn, more full of knowledge in that. So thanks so much for joining us. Okay, we'll see you next time.